Often in programs, we want to run the same code repeatedly for a certain number of times, perhaps even changing it a little bit at each iteration. This is where loops come in. In JavaScript, one loop that we can use is the for loop. Let's say I wanted to print the numbers 1 to 10. Now, I could write separate console.log statements for each number starting with 1 and going all the way up. So we'll console.log 1, we'll console.log 2, let's save. There we go, 1, 2. Let's keep going. How about a console.log of 3? And after writing this 3 times, you can begin to see how tiring this would get if I went all the way to 10, let alone if I wanted to go to 100 or 1000. So to solve this problem in code, we can write a for loop that just automatically does this for us. For loops use the for keyword and then have a set of parentheses following that and then a coding block. Now, within this parentheses is where all the magic happens. And don't worry about the syntax error, that's just because we haven't put anything within our condition yet. So within the condition for the for loop, we set a starting counting variable first, then we set a limit to where that counting variable should stop, and then we specify by how much that counting variable should increase each time. Once again, there's 3 things that happen. We have a counting variable, we set a limit for that counting variable, and then we say by how much that counting variable should increase each time. Let's go ahead and add some logic that has a limit set to 5 for a counting variable of I0. Then we'll say I is less than 5, which is our limit. And then we say I equals I plus 1 to count each time. And then within the block, we'll console.log what I looks like each time. There we go, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 shows up in our console. Great. Now, the syntax can look a little funny at first, but just recall that there's 3 things happening in this condition. First, if you just isolate this part, we're setting I to 0. Next, we have another statement that sets I less than 5 as a limit for our for loop, and then here we're specifying by how much I should increase each time. Now this specific part, where I equals I plus 1, can also look weird, but it's simply setting the variable I to the result of adding 1 to its current value. Now it looks weird because you don't really see this logic in any math equations, but this kind of logic where you update a variable by changing something according to its own value is something that appears frequently in computer science. Now in the loops that you see in JavaScript, you'll often see this last part shortened down. We can use the plus equals operator to achieve this same effect. As we save, we notice that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 updates in our console using the plus equals assignment operator. Furthermore, you'll see another shortening of I plus equals 1 with the increment operator, which just looks like I plus plus, which is essentially the same thing as saying I equals I plus 1. All right, now that we've discussed loops, let's go through another benefit with this great feature. Loops prove highly useful when iterating through arrays. Suppose I had an array of names, and then we'll say Frodo for our first one, Sam, let's do the other 2 hobbits, Merry, and Pippin. And for those of you who enjoy some Lord of the Rings, we'll know that there's 5 other ones that we could probably include in here for our entire fellowship. But still, let's just go ahead and save this. And now we'll use a loop to simply start from 0, go through the array length, and print each name one by one, starting from the 0th element all the way to the end. So we'll declare a loop. We'll say var I equals 0. We'll set a limit to the length of our names array, and then we'll update by 1 each time. Then we'll console.log the ith name in our names array. And there we go, we see Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin show up in our console, logging each name individually thanks to our for loop. All right, we've witnessed the power of for loops. Now let's discover another loop in JavaScript with while loops next.